goodness. It is Truth and Tequila. And it's Truth and Tequila Tuesday. And I was giggling because Lola just plopped herself down and gave a big old sigh. She's so happy when we're all together. And I am so happy when we're all together as well. So welcome. It is, Truth and Tequila Tuesday. And as always, I've got some really fun agave spirit. We have a great question this week, and it comes from Sarah. And she says, every year for my job, I have to take risk training on suicide and sexual assault. It's a requirement. We have a deadline to complete the tests, and today I just did training on suicide. The same thing happens to me each year. I start to get really tired and a feeling of exhaustion comes over me. I start to think about errands I could do on the way home, and that I probably should just do those if I could only take the test tomorrow. My stomach hurts and I get a really painful sensation through my body that's very, very uncomfortable. I don't like any of these feelings. Is there a way I can just detach from them so I can get through taking these tests? Help. Well, my heart is with you, Sarah, and I hear everything that you're saying. And look, there are a couple of things I'd like to share with you. First, I'm going to say I think it would be really, really valuable for you to discover a bit more of what's connected to this discomfort versus detaching from it. Because this level of discomfort that you're describing usually indicates that there's some kind of kink. And look, if you're new to me and the podcast, I'm not talking about the fun kind of kink for adult play. I'm talking about the energetic kinks that are built up in your body from trauma, whether it's emotional or physical. And it's important to say that it's 100% okay to reach out for additional support, whether it's from a counselor, a therapist, or someone who deals with healing trauma. That is a key piece in accessing your mojo and important in this conversation. Now, you're asking, how can you just detach? And again, while that's possible, the more empowering thing, and what I'm going to focus on for you and for the listeners today, is really looking at this big picture to discover what exactly is the kink that's getting activated by these conversations. Because otherwise, you could just detach and then suppress that kink, which only gives it more power and more potency. And then it will continue to hold you back from really being free. And so, you talked about how it makes your body feel, and that you have this general feeling of being upset, which is completely normal when a kink gets activated. And in those moments, here are two really, really empowering questions to always ask yourself. Number one, what am I making this mean? What am I making this mean? Because there's something about being a part of that conversation that has significant meaning for you. Question number two, what are you specifically making it mean about you? Right? What are you specifically making it mean about you? Those are the two questions that I would make sure you have. Write them down, right? Save them, because those are the ones that are always going to help you open up the doorway for you to discover, oh, this is the kink. Like, this is the story where the kink got created. And once you have that awareness, then you begin to actually get freedom, because you're creating the freedom from the root instead of creating the freedom from the cause. And when you create any kind of freedom from the cause, it's temporary. Now, to clarify, most kinks are related to years between 0 and 12. I mean, that's actually giving it a lot more room, but it's usually 0 to 8. But, maybe some people, you'll acquire a kink or two up until 12. And after that, the kinks are in there. They're in you. They're in your body. And then it's all like a rinse and repeat, because at that point, right again, the kinks have been laid down. They're embedded in your neurobiological system, which is why you're having these sensations and feelings in your body around certain subject matters that are activating the kink. Now, it's also interesting because, you mentioned that two of the subject matters, there were two subject matters that you're getting trainings on, and today the subject was on suicide. So look, any of these topics, suicide, sexual abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, trauma, any of these topics, they're not exactly the most feel-good, exciting topics, and yet they're part of what I refer to as the shadow side. And so the shadow side, your shadow side, the shadow side of life, other people's shadow side, right? The shadow side is equally as important to wrap your arms around and love. Specifically, to love your own shadow side as much as loving the light side. Your light side, other people's light sides, right? The light side of life. It's important to wrap your arms around both the light and the shadow because it's all part of the whole. And when we deny the shadow side, then there's only so much of the light that can get in. Because whatever you deny on either end of the spectrum is going to put a barrier on how much you can experience in the full spectrum of life, the totality of life. And most people put a very heavy barrier on shadow work because, look, it can be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be. And there are some people that get really into it. Really into it. It can actually be very fun and exciting. And I'm thinking about one of the Real Undressed guests, Jamie Caddo. And he does great work bringing fun and exploration and pleasure to experiencing the shadow. And if you haven't heard his episode, I'll link it up below for you. Now, here's the thing. When you actually give yourself permission to get dirty, like metaphorically dirty, in the shadow work, that's when you can really look at that stuff within yourself. And when you can wrap your arms around your own shadow, then it's not so horrible when you witness it in other people or in conversations or trainings like you're dealing with at work. More importantly, when you embrace your own shadow, you have more room for self-love. You've got more room for your own mojo to flow because, again, you're owning and honoring and accepting a larger spectrum with which to exist in, and that is really juicy. And that's when you're really undressed. Remember, if you have a question you'd like considered for an upcoming Truth and Tequila episode, go to therealundressed.com and click Submit Your Cue on the Truth and Tequila image. The Real Undressed? It's here to inspire you to get free in whatever way, shape, or form that takes. And if you're digging this podcast and you're getting some value, please take 60 seconds and subscribe on Apple or Spotify and leave a 5-star rating. And if you really want to let that mojo shine, leave a review as well. They make the world of difference in helping this show grow. As always, thanks for getting undressed with me.